And hopefully everybody came with their questions. If you gotcha. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. We're going to get started in a few, just letting a few more people join in with us real quick. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, welcome. I won't be taking y'all questions, but for anybody that's a Clean Biz Network member, I will take your questions. So make sure that if you're watching this from YouTube and you are on CBN, that you go ahead and join through the link that I posted inside the CBN Facebook group, as well as the one that I shared with you via email. Either one is fine. But I just posted it not too long ago in the Facebook group, so there's that. All right. All right, and I see we at 7:04, so we can start in about 1 minute. As long as Tom, you ready? You'll be ready.
Cool. I'm ready to rock right now. Yeah.
Cool. All right, cool. I'm giving 7:05 on the dot. We'll get it rolling. And two, just so you know, so we'll actually it just turned 7:05. But anyway, so here's where I want to start. So basically, I wanted you to kind of just basically demo the whole thing again, but we can kind of like take our time with it, go in detail. We'll take some questions. So, do you want us to kind of raise our hand as you're going along? If somebody get questions along the way, to raise their hand and you get them there, or would you like to end each segment first and then we'll stop and ask for questions?
I'm fine, however you guys want to roll with it. Yeah, and actually, I think more interaction would be great. So, and I recognize a couple names on here. So I see Billy just joined. I recognize Brandon. I know that these guys are already in the platform. Yep. So yeah, happy to kind of take a deeper dive. I don't know if you want to just kick off with like a scenario that would work best, or maybe pick a live scenario that somebody would really want to actually work through, and we can do that too.
All right. Well, I think the very first thing, if you prepare for it, we can go ahead and start with that power dial. I think that's what everybody, they can figure it out. So we'll start there. We'll just kind of work our way through the whole thing pretty much.
Okay, so the power dial, people couldn't figure it out. Is that what you said?
Yeah, nobody could figure out how to use it. And two, I don't think they had access at first. So I did just go in to make sure everybody had access now. So for those of you who couldn't figure it out, it's probably because you didn't have access to it. But you do have it now, though.
That's the thing. I think it was. Yeah. So, okay. And I think it was just mostly the access piece, but I just got access myself. So what I'll do is I'll show everybody how that works, and we're sorry for that, but we'll make sure that you have access, and then we'll get some recordings out and things along those lines to make sure that everybody has it up and running. Yep. All right. So power dialing and cold calling is kind of a big thing for everybody here. It's something that you guys want to do, and probably I honestly I've been in sales for a long time, and I will tell you, in my opinion, I think cold calling, if you can master that, you really can hit the gas pedal on your paycheck, right? It gives you an ability to really control being able to sell. So sorry, I'm doing two things at once. That's why.
All
Boom, there
good.
we go. All right. So now everybody can see a screen.
Yep.
All right. So the CBN CRM has a power dialer built into it. And AJ, do you remind me the numbers? Do they is it pretty common that most of these will already have numbers turned on, or is that something, a step that they'll have to go through to get a
Yep.
number turned?
Everybody should have their numbers. Yes.
All right, perfect. So let's start with I've already done a search, so I'm gonna say that we do have an interest for example, dentists, here in Phoenix, Arizona. So if that's what I'm trying to target, then the next thing I want to do is try to start pushing some of these into the CRM so that we can put them into a cold call campaign. So the first thing I want to do is actually come here and go to the default list settings and look for CRM tags. The power dial will automatically add this tag when it gets installed. And if you do nothing more and you just sort of keep this one and follow what I'm doing here, you'll be just fine. What I do want to say is, though, is that as you get going on this, you're going to notice that there's probably some things that you can kind of change or configure or edit for yourself, and maybe make it work a little bit more along the flow of like what you want to do.
Yep.
All right. So what I want to do, though, again, and the reason why I'm coming here first is I'm setting the default list setting. And so what that means is that every time I push a contact into the CRM, it's going to have that contact tab or that contact tag. Anything with a phone number on it like this here, when I go and I send it to the CRM, what's going to happen is it's going to work. It's going to put itself into the workflow for the automation to go into the power dialer. So before I do all that, I want to kind of go to the next step and show you where that is and just make sure that you have that turned on and configured. And then I'm going to take you all the way from this spot here into the power dialer and then into making like a couple calls and show you how it kind of works through the system.
Got it.
Perfect. So inside of this automation tab, you'll just need to make sure that all of these here get published when they come in into the system. So that's the power dialer. It gets turned on. These flows here get published. With those being published, then what ends up happening is it's going to be triggered by that tag that we have. All right. So to simplify all of this, if you do nothing more than just follow what I'm going to do right here, you'll be just fine. So here's the part that you really just want to make sure that you understand and pay attention on. I'm going to show you two ways to push businesses into the system. So the first one is just going to be one by one. Now I might be wanting to filter down to like a specific zip code where I'm trying to get, a couple of different businesses. And I'm, just different reasons why you might want to go one by one. But we'll say that the Lookout Mountain Family Dental is one that we want to, call into. And I know that I already have the tag set, so I'm just going to go ahead and click send to the CRM. And then you'll see that it's been sent. So I'm going to do that again with Arizona Family Dental Network or Arizona Family Dental. And this one also has a phone number, so I'm going to say send that one to the CRM. And now, where do these go, and how do we like start power dialing into them? So let's say I just added a whole list, which I'll show you how to do that here in a second. But let's just say I added 20 or 30 contacts, and now I just want to call them. The way to do that is to go back to your Conversations tab, and underneath the Conversations tab, what you're going to find is a tab here called Manual Actions, and that's where these businesses are now located. And what I'm realizing is I don't know if I have a number in my system, but we can try to see if it's going to let me.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you do. So what we can do is I can let me hop in mine real quick, and then I can kind of do some demo calls if you want.
Yeah, you're either that. I could probably. Yeah, give me 1 second too. Let me take a quick look at one thing.
Okay.
All right, I get the screen paused. 1 second.
Okay, cool. In the meantime, I'm gonna put some leads in Arizona. Is it like what 411 right now, or is that only California?
I think it's 512 in Arizona.
Gotcha. I'm gonna pull
Yeah.
up somewhere in California then, and I'm just gonna do some demo calls there real quick.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so go ahead and do the searches, AJ. While you're doing that, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, and then we can show it live in action and do some demo calls. Would be amazing.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I just actually grabbed myself a number, is what I did. So,
Oh, okay.
done and
In that
done.
case, if you did, I'll switch to your account so it'll be quicker then.
Yeah, let's. I'm not sure. We'll see if this number works. I'm doing all this kind of live. All right, here we go. So back to the conversations tab, and let me hit resume, and we're going to back to manual actions. All right. Here we are. So now, what I did here is I just set up a phone number inside of the CRM system, only because I just have like this demo account here for this purpose, and so I didn't think to set the demo number up, and I apologize for that bit of a delay there. All right. The two businesses that I just pushed into the system are now right here, and they're underneath again the conversations and manual actions. And now when we go ahead and hit let's start, it should, hopefully with that number I just grabbed, start making some dials. I don't know if there's anything else I have to do to activate that number. It looks like I have one right here from 913. Please allow phone system access my microphone. Okay, sorry about that. Let's try this. Allow while visiting the site. So what I'm going to be doing is making calls to the computer, so it needs microphone access. I'm going to try this one more time with the microphone access turned on.
Okay. Let me see if it works on my end.
Yeah, I thought I had one. But if it works on your end, yeah, we can go from your side
It
too.
actually is working. So let me share my screen. Can y'all hear it? Whoops.
Your screen, yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So that one went to voicemail. I ended it. We'll just say voicemail. And then it automatically goes to the next one. So you can see the
Correct.
next lead is loading up, and then we can pause it if we want to pause, or we can, yeah, you can kind of talk to it better than I can. But
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
pretty much it, right? And I can click it also, right, to make it speed up if I don't want to wait for this.
Yes.
Perfect. And so you see is now calling that next lead that's in the workflow. I'm gonna see if I can actually book one. I don't know who it's for, but I'll try.
Is it ringing right now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we don't. I think we can hear it, but it'd be interesting to hear how it goes.
Hey, this is AJ with CB and Cleaning. Just calling to see, do you know who's usually in charge of hiring a cleaning company for you guys? Gotcha. Thank you. Sure. Would you happen to know who the office manager is by chance? Okay. Okay, cool. I'll just try back in the daytime. Thank you. All right, bye. All right, cool. But it was after hours. That was the answering service. I'm not sure if y'all could hear it or not. But let's see. For that one, maybe I'll put completed. Maybe I did speak to somebody, but it wasn't really them.
So
What
no,
do
what you'll do, yeah. So here's yeah, good stop here right here. So if you hit completed, it will not put it back into the power dialer.
gotcha.
And so what will happen is anything else like a no answer, a voicemail, or a busy signal will automatically take that lead and put it into the power dialer again for the next day.
Gotcha. So I'll go no answer because talking to her was basically like talking to nobody anyway. So
Yeah, right, exactly. It didn't really go anywhere. We didn't leave a message. We didn't complete the call. So in other words, we're still trying to, trying to prospect them. And what you've just reached now is you're at the end of the list.
yep.
Right. So what that means now is that the list is done. I'm only pointing that out because when I do phone call prospecting, I love to have a list that I can just work to zero.
Right.
So if I can load up 20 today, right, and then maybe 20 tomorrow, I come back in tomorrow and I'll have another 20 to go ahead and actually like call through. So somebody has a question. They say, please repeat how you retrieved the contacts to call and then transferred them to the CRM. Yeah, absolutely can do that. And then the plans come with credit, each credit goes one contact. You press the button to push it to this
That's
CRM.
Brandon explaining to Andrea, and then I mean Andrea.
Okay, I see. Okay, yeah. Thanks, Brandon. So, but I'll go back over that though. I'm sure that's probably helpful. So, let me reread the question one more time. Please repeat how you retrieve the contacts to call and then transfer to the CRM. Perfect. Yeah, because I didn't actually show that. I
Okay.
already, yeah. I already had them there. So let's go back and show that now. And I also forgot I got to reshare my screen. Perfect. So let's go here. Boom, and then right here, and then go ahead and share that. All right. So when we're in Mapleads, the part that we didn't show that I already had set up was that the search was already completed, right? And so if you want to see how that's done, what we're doing is we're just going right here. And is it Andrea or Andrea? I'm sorry, I missed the name, but Andrea, can you just maybe chat in where you're located and the type of business that you'd want to find?
And feel free to unmute, by the way. Y'all can jump in and talk if you want.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Savannah, Georgia. Okay. And then is there any specific type of business that you would want to try to prospect into? Dentist. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. And if you want, you can also unmute and we can kind of go from there. But let's do an actual search here. So we're looking for dentist and then Savannah, Georgia. Savannah and then Georgia. Is Savannah have those crazy crooked steps down to like the pier? I feel yes. Okay, I was there. Wow, it's probably 5 years ago now. But those steps are crazy. This is how long ago it was. There's a little cork shop up top that sold cork products. So I don't know if that rings a bell for you, Andrea, but that was something I remember about being there. All right, so here's what we're doing. We're going to look for a dentist, and we're looking for them in Savannah, Georgia. And then you can say like the maximum number of credits that you want to use. What we're doing is we're really just pulling businesses directly from Google Maps, and it's going to be a live search. Google Maps will only ever allow you to go to 500. So even if I put that in there, one, there's probably not 500 dentists in Savannah, Georgia. So we're going to come in with less. And then the second thing that I want you to know is that Mapleads does a whole bunch of things behind the scenes. So what we're also doing is we're getting rid of any business that is marked on Google Maps as like permanently closed or temporarily closed. A lot of times in search results, if you're just pulling all the data, there will be sometimes duplicates within that, and we clean all that up and get rid of all those things. When you're doing a search, I'm going to go to 50 results because 50 results is probably still going to take like 20 seconds. If I set it to 500, we're going to be sitting for almost 2 minutes.
Right.
Right. So, and because again, like it's going out to the internet, we're grabbing real businesses that are out there in the moment and all that sort of stuff. So this is the part that when we first hopped on the call that was already done and that I didn't actually show you. And so now what you're going to see is we're looking at the first 1 to 20 results of 50 businesses. And now what we can do is we can kind of go through each one of these and then send them, over to the CRM. So you'll see that right now it's also looking for email addresses. That's the next step that happens. And that green little one means that we found one email address. We didn't find any on this one. We found two here. But if we click on this group and I go ahead and click send to CRM, that's going to now be in that call list automatically. because it's tagged and with a call tag. Oh, actually, you know what? I did not tag it with a call tag. So let's talk about what happens when that happens. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure I set it with the call tag. Remember I did that in the last one? I forgot to do that. So what does
Yep.
that what that means is I can go back to the contacts. I'm going to see the contact there. I believe, which one was it? It was this one right here, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Probably.
that looks right. And I can click on the contact and I can very easily just add the tag to it. And by adding that tag, that will also put it into the workflow. So
Would
now with that, go ahead.
I was gonna say before you click off, actually, if they click that little automation button right under it, it probably will show there, right? Yep.
There it is. Yeah. So when it's active in the first call, what that means for you is that it's in the workflow, right? So remember, we just watched AJ work it down to 0. When we come back here, that one's there now. And it's there because we put the call tag on it. So if you are importing contacts from Mapleads and you have the call tag on it, it's going to happen automatically. If you have contacts in your CRM system that you want to call, you can add the call tag and that will also put them in there.
Perfect. And then could we just show them how you would do maybe a more multiple at a time, importing them from Mapleads into the CRM?
Absolutely. So let's go back to Mapleads. And the way I think about prospecting is, you'll hear this out there. This isn't like my phrase, but like there's spears and nets. So what I kind of just showed you was more the spear. Like we're looking at one business, we're evaluating it and deciding, hey, do we want this one? We do. We're going to push the button manually, like that kind of thing. But maybe we know that we're good. It's in Savannah, Georgia. It's a dentist. That's all I need to know. Then what we can do is we can flip over to the list view and think about it as a net. If I do no other filters, I select them all, then there's going to be 50 of them. And what I can do from that point is I can click send to CRM. And the only thing I really want to do when I'm doing a call campaign is a business because that's the only thing that has the phone number attached to it. So I'm just going to leave it at this and say import businesses only. I already have the call tag set. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click bulk send to CRM.
Would it make a difference if we click the one that says send the business and the email?
Yes. Yep. And the difference, it does make a difference and it doesn't. What
Okay.
will happen when you say send emails is you're also going to bring all the email addresses that we found. So if you want to know what that looks like, we have 50 businesses that we found. And on those 50 businesses, we also found 76 emails. Okay, but it wouldn't really make sense to import an email address with a call tag because there's no
Gotcha.
phone number on it, right?
Gotcha.
So the reason why when we're looking at a list view, you have the two different options right here, or you can do mix and match, is because there's probably a chance that I want to just bring the emails in, not on a call tag, but some other tag, which I don't have in here.
Gotcha.
That other tag is likely going to be the thing that triggers some sort of email campaign. There's, we're a little off track here, but if you do want to import emails and you're doing them in bulk, I would probably recommend just checking this box saying that the email domain must match. And the reason for that is what we're doing is we're just looking on the internet for email addresses that match that domain.
Right.
But I might find a Gmail or something like that on their website. And if I do, and I know it's on the website, I'm going to bring it in. And so there's always going to be like maybe one or two email addresses that we're going to pull from somewhere else that we believe belongs to them in some way, but we might have gotten wrong.
Gotcha.
I'd rather bring those in and give you the opportunity to look at them and decide I don't want to do anything because this isn't costing you anything. There's no credits used for email consumption. There's no credits used to push it to the CRM. So in a lot of ways, there isn't really any harm in me grabbing a couple extra that might not necessarily be correct, but we're going to try to see if we can find, whatever email addresses we think they're listening to.
Gotcha. And the only reason I ask that is because I'm wondering, like, for the people, maybe they wanted to import these contacts, hit them with a cold call campaign, and then also maybe go back and do a cold email campaign directly to these same businesses. And so I'm wondering, could they do that by importing both, maybe?
Absolutely. And so if we wanted to go that direction, I would still bring the businesses over on a call campaign.
Okay.
And then I would bring the emails in on a separate campaign that's just doing email touches while you're making phone calls. So
Gotcha.
they won't necessarily be part of the same workflow, but you're going to be working them at the same time.
Got it.
Yeah. And I don't see any reason why I wouldn't do both.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's great because then you've got, both sides working. Something hitting from an email, something hitting from a phone call, multiple touches happening at the same time, like just
Yep.
increasing your odds of actually making that connection.
Yep.
So what did I just do? So remember I said we're going to import all 50 of those in one shot. So let's go back over here, and if we look at all the contacts, now you can see here's all of those contacts that we just brought in. And you can see I already had 3 in there, and there's a total of 53, and it's going across 3 pages. We wanted to see all of them. I think you can change the page size. Yeah, so we go to 100,
Yep.
right? And what happened was all of them were brought in with the call tag. So this is where the power dialer really starts to take. You're going to see the value of like what's going on here is that now when we go back to that conversations tag, like while AJ and I were chit chatting, we had manual actions all set up and ready to go. And, we know that they're all sitting in the first call. So if I just look at the first call only, I now have over 50 actions, or at least 50 actions that are all in here. That mean that they're ready to go. And you can see the import times of when we brought all these in. So now I'm going to sit here and I click Let's Start, and I can go through all 50 dials. And when it's dialing, what's going to happen is if I don't talk to them or if I don't connect with the person I want, then I hit anything other than complete. Maybe I left them a voicemail. Um, we had no answer, right, or busy. Those are really the 3 options that are available. Honestly, you could probably just hit no answer or voicemail most of the time. Either one of those are going to put it back into the dialer again for the next day.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, question now, because this is beautiful, by the way. So this is very we can now. My brain is already running right with all of these. My next question. Let's just say, and actually this goes along with a question Billy asked earlier. He was asking about okay, if he has a cold caller, a virtual assistant cold calling for him, but then he also wants to call at the same time, right?
Yeah.
I already told him he'll need 2 phone numbers for that first offer. They will be called simultaneously. And this may not be a Mapleads question. So if it's not, I'll handle that. But if it is, you
Yep.
see where it says select assignee. I'm wondering, can we assign the power dialer to a particular user? So let's just say I make this list for one user, and then I turn around, import another list, and assign it to myself, and then we both can work a list each day. Is it possible to kind of assign those lists?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And unfortunately, there's probably 3 or 4 different ways I can think about doing that.
Okay.
All right. So I can show you the way that is impacted by Mapleads, right?
Okay.
Because one of the great things about Mapleads, so what's going to happen there is that your VA or whoever it is that you have, the person that's going to be doing the dialing, I forgot what you call them, they will likely have at this point, it sounds like, access into the CBN CRM.
Yep.
Right. And so with that, if they were to click on Mapleads, they would also be able to see Mapleads. They can either run searches if you want them to or not if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're running their own searches, then we can kind of set some default tags so that when they import them in, you can create an automation that will say, okay, if the tag is Tom, for example, that just that tag being on there will automatically assign that lead to Tom.
Mm.
So that's a really quick, easy way to do it. Now, with that in mind, and I don't want to get too far off track here, but underneath user settings, so we get perfect. We got AJ in here, we've got Tom. Both of us are in this account already. It's because
Mm-hmm.
AJ just accessed my account, so it automatically created a user form. So if your dialer, or your person that's dialing the phone, comes in and accesses the account, they'll have an account in here. One of the things you can do, because oftentimes, like when I'm running a list, like you saw me do it, I forgot to add my tags.
Right.
Like automatically forgot to add my tags. But what we can do is we can just sit here and add tags for any time that I do a search. It's going to automatically add call.
Mm.
Um, I don't know if we've got. Can I go over how to add tags? Is that
You can, because my people do not know. Most
Yeah,
of
yeah,
them
yeah.
don't.
Okay. So you're going to go into the settings. So on the lower left, there's a little settings button. That's what I just clicked on. So if you missed me doing that, you're going to see it right here. It's right. So I'm going to click on settings. And then when I go into settings, I'm going to click on tags. Now, when the power dialer was created, the call tag was automatically added. Okay, that was just part of the power dialer getting set up. It knew to do that. But what I don't have is any other tag in the system. Now tags, why do we add tags? Tags are all about two things: organization of your lists and contacts and automation,
Yeah.
right? And so when I talk about organization, now like there's me in here, and tags, if you're anything like me, it'll drive you nuts. They're always lowercase. So even if I make the tag like this, it's going to make it lowercase. So I just type them all lowercase now. I've finally given.
Right.
But a tag will be added to the system. So now there's a tag for Tom. And just what I'm going to do here, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm also going to create one for AJ. And AJ, I would assume that there's access to like the automations, right? Is it okay if I build an automation live? Do they have the ability to build automations? I don't know.
You can. So
I don't know.
yes,
Yeah, mine had it, so I
you
just
can. But what
yeah.
I'll do is I'll just take this video off of YouTube. You know what? I'm going to stop it now. So bye, YouTube. Sorry, y'all need to join us in Clean Business Network and sign up for Mapleads. Talk to y'all later. And
All right.
then for the people who are in Clean Business Network, this is good for you to see, because if you are not an automation program, then you should be in that, because you'll be able to do this. But anyway,